Welcome back to the stream, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. The devs have just announced, well, a few hours ago, I think, the new changes for the incoming mid-chapter patch. And boy, is it exciting. So we're going to be taking a quick look at all those things. Briefly, though, I don't want to like over-analyze and spend like forever going over each and every point. But I want to just briefly skim through it and give you basically what you need to know. Basically what we want to know, and all the rest, we don't really care, do we? So, how you doing? First of all, welcome in. Welcome in, good to see you. So in essence, this can all be boiled down to Killer got nerfed and Survivors got buffed. So, long story short, yes, we could go over each and every point and be like, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, etc. But in a nutshell, Killer got nerfed and Survivors got buffed. Now, more specifically, welcome back. Hello there. My God, I mean, it's kind of disappointing, to be fair. It's kind of disappointing. I can't say I'm surprised, though, because that would be a lie. I'm not surprised at all. So, yeah, I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's going on with this. Okay. There you have it, the developer update. Hello there, guys. Hello there. Very disappointing. So, Survivor Activity HUD. So, finally, the time has arrived where they add these icons. You see these icons, which will allow you to know what your teammates are doing. For example, this guy is cleansing a totem. You see a totem icon. This Salina is on a gen. You see a gen icon. This Jeff's in chase. You see the tentacles. You see these tentacles on the side, which indicate that this guy's in a chase, this guy's opening a chest. So what you have is you have these status icons, which just gives you, it relays just basic information. What are my teammates doing? Okay, now, I want to start off by saying this shit should have been in the game since basically day one. It's such a simple thing. It's such a simple thing. And pretty much every game under the sun has this already. Like, this is some, it's like, guys, I wiped my own ass. Yes, I wiped my own ass. Like, okay, that's fine. Now, the point is, this is really basic stuff. Like, it's not something that you should write home about, you know? Like, oh, we added status icons in the team game. Wow, really? Well, I mean, okay. So, yeah, you'll be able to tell what your teammates are doing. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the funny thing about this. They say, you know, that by adding this function, it will improve solo queue because now solo queue is less weak. You know, they've been discussing how Survivor Friends is a lot stronger than solo because they're a lot more coordinated and they can call all this stuff out and they already know what everyone's doing at every given time. And so this would improve solo a lot and it would be so good. Honestly, it may improve it just a little bit, but at the end of the day, guys, if you want to know the truth, I think solo queue is still gonna suck. But not for the reasons you think. It's because dumb fucking people play solo. No one good plays solo. That's the problem. Knowing what your teammates are doing isn't going to change that. It's not going to just magically make people play the game better. And you may think it will, and it may, but just by 3%, by 5%, it's not going to be a big difference. Guys, the crux of the matter is a bad player is still a bad player. A player who has only rudimentary understanding of how not to waste time and how to be efficient is still going to be a fucking dead weight. This isn't going to change that much. It's like a psychological thing. I love it. It's like, it's funny because people actually believe that because of these icons now in solo, like everyone's going to play well now. Everyone's going to be, okay, I guess now gens will go quick and, you know, my teammates are going to be efficient. And it's not going to happen because I'll tell you one thing. You could take away all these icons. You could cancel this update, okay, and take away all those icons. And good, and I want to repeat myself. I want to emphasize, good solo players will still play as good as they did. Nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. It's not gonna be more bearable. You will be surprised to find out. I will be shocked. Okay, I will be shocked if you guys tell me, Zeb, since they updated, my solo queue experience is fantastic. It's not going to happen. A bad player is a bad player. This isn't going to do shit. By the way, thank you, Step. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate the 42 months, my man. Thank you so much, bro. It's not going to change anything. Like, honestly, it's you know what's going to change? Something is going to change, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. What this is going to do in practice, and this may sound pessimistic, but again, if I'm wrong, I'll be shocked if I'm wrong. It's going to make Swift even stronger because now half the stuff that they used to call out, they don't need to call that out anymore. They basically only have to call out half the stuff they did. So that's going to make Swift's Survivor Friends even more powerful, and solo is gonna barely change. It's gonna still be shitty, maybe 5-6% less shitty, but it will still be shitty. Solo queue is still gonna be composed of leftover, bottom of the barrel players who are still probably gonna DC, generally be bad, generally be selfish. It's still gonna suck. Okay, it's not gonna be good. But then on the flip side, you have Survivor Friends, which is going to gain even more momentum, even more power, even more efficiency. So basically, those death squads, which are so difficult to beat because of how unfair the game is, they're going to be even stronger because they're going to have even more information, and they're going to communicate information between themselves that much more efficiently. So that's all this is going to do. That is all this is going to do. Okay, in a nutshell. Like, you may think, oh, this is great. And I mean, I don't disagree with the change. It is needed. I mean, you do need to know what your teammates are doing, but don't expect this to do any good because it won't change anything, man. Again, for the last time, a bad player is a bad player, and no amount of icons can give them a brain transplant. It's just not going to happen. So moving on, they updated the wiggle mechanics. So great skill checks. If you hit the great skill checks, it no longer takes away a second. It's always going to be the same duration. Now, if you get great skill checks, your reward is the killer sways more when he carries you. Well, that's just going to be annoying. It's going to feel like maybe a weaker version of Boil Over. So that's going to suck. But whatever, it's just a minor change, I guess. It's like more than a nerf or a buff. It's like a rework because the killer gets to carry you for 1 second longer, but they sway a bit more. It's whatever. Now, most prominently, when I talk about killer nerfs, I'm referring to Nurse. So Nurse got heavily nerfed. Now, I don't even disagree with the nerf on Nurse because Nurse is way stronger than all the other killers distinctively. So nerfing her, I don't think it's a mistake. The problem is they didn't do anything about the game flow. They didn't do anything about the gameplay. Like, all they're doing is nerfing this and adding a few icons to Survivor. That's it. So essentially, it's a Survivor buff and a killer nerf. That's what this can be translated to, basically. So they're making her blink attacks special attacks. So no more Starstruck Nurse, no more Noed Nurse, no more synergizing these kind of perks with the Nurse, because now when you blink on someone, that attack is considered a special attack, and so it won't proc any of these perks. So this is something that has been proposed for a long time now, and finally, after years and years and years and years, they're seemingly implementing that. Okay, fair enough. Also, we have some add-on reworks. Now, they're probably going to butcher the range add-ons. Now, the range add-ons, in my opinion, what needed to be done was, you know how she has a purple range and a green recovery? They should make the green and purple like the yellow, because the yellow and green. Sorry, so the purple range becomes green range, and green recovery becomes yellow recovery. Okay, that I think would be a fair change. Okay, honestly, because if you reduce the range too much, then the Nurse becomes distinctively weaker. So I agree with the change to the special attack because it was too OP to use Starstruck and all that bullshit. I agree that was way too strong. It needed to be changed. So I agree with the special attack change. Now, with the add-ons, it gets a bit more tricky because if you reduce her range too much, then they can just hold Shift W, and the Nurse goes from being strong to pretty meh, especially on certain maps. So again, what I would do personally would make the purple green and the green yellow for the range and the recovery. But we'll see what they do. They probably went into details on the link, on whatever. They may share details later on, but we'll take a look later. I mean, whatever. Nurse got nerfed. That's what you need to know. Nurse is getting nerfed. Now, the Knight, they're slightly buffing him when he uses his power at longer distances. So if you cast your path for longer than 10 meters, the Knight will gain the haste effect for a few seconds. So basically the knights will move faster, which is nice. Although it only works when you set up a guard for further than 10 meters. So situational, but it's a slight buff, which is it's kind of welcome though, because at least you get something. So the knight got slightly buffed, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice, yeah. And yeah, basically that's all they did. And they're also reworking Area of Crows a bit to make it a little less painful. Big deal. I mean, it was a busted map, so they're probably going to rework a few tiles, which is kind of nice, I guess. Although, in my opinion, there's many other broken maps like Badham and Cowshed, for example, but it's good enough. At least we get something. At least one of the bullshit maps is like maybe 10% less bullshit. But again, I think my major gripe with these maps, it's not even, I mean, sure, the tiles are annoying, but mainly I think it's a problem of the size. I think it's the sheer size of the map. Here we can see one of the tiles that they have in mind. So this is a new one, you see. So it's pretty unsafe, this, especially against, for example, Huntress or Deathslinger. It's quite an unsafe tile, that one. But yeah, okay, so they're nerfing this map a little bit, which is okay. And well, there's some challenge stuff, which, to be honest, is not very interesting. You can select challenges while changing your character and while selecting cosmetics and all that bullshit. I'm not too interested in these things, to be fair. They're reworking the way you can obtain Merciless Killer. So now, if you want to get Merciless, all you need to do is kill 4 survivors. Now I'm so glad I didn't go for the Adepts. So glad I didn't go for the Adepts. So now all I need to do is kill 4 people with certain perks and I get the Adept. Easy. So that's a welcome change. That's a welcome change. Now areas are square. Ah, so they changed the size. Nice. Okay. Good. Okay. They're finally learning something. And okay, you'll be able to buy the original characters' cosmetics with shards. They already said this ages ago. They're still implementing it. And finally, they banned a bunch of cheaters. The graph shows how many cheaters they've banned every year. And in 2022, it looks like they've banned 64,000 plus cheaters, which isn't bad. The problem is that there's like maybe 10 times the amount of these accounts ready to be used for cheating. So I mean, it's something. I'm not saying it's nothing. This is very, very cool, the fact that they're banning so many cheaters, but they need to keep it up and they need to, as they say, keep implementing, security and patching the vulnerabilities, as they say in the end. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what's happened. Again, all I can say is, yeah, Survivor got buffed and Killer got nerfed because Nurse got nerfed. The strongest killer in the game got nerfed. And now Survivor Friends is stronger. Solo queue is going to be just as bad. That's basically all you need to know. That is basically all you need to know. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, you may think, oh, you're exaggerating. You're so negative about it. But the reality is that, like, a bad player is a bad player. And a good player is a good player. A good player probably doesn't even need the icons because they can already imagine what's going on, more or less. They're not going to need them, in my opinion. They're not going to need the icons. But having them is going to make it even easier. Nurse is going to have no range add-ons. Really? Are you sure about that? So she has no range add-ons. Wow. That's going to make her very, very, a lot weaker. If she has no range at all, and she has just the basic range, that's pretty weak. That is actually pretty weak, to be fair. Thank you, La Ragazza Matta, for the 10 euros. A little gift for my favorite streamer. Thank you very much for the hours of entertainment you're providing. And keep up the good job. Thank you, man. That gets us closer to the goal for Friday. Variety Friday. 70 euros 50 cents. Wow, we're getting really close. Well, kind of close. So maybe next Friday, Variety Friday, maybe? We're close. I mean, it could happen. Anyway, with that said, guys, I'm going to jump in, continue our killer streak. Continue the streak. See where continue from where we left off. And yeah, let's get busy. Need to play Trickster. The Deep Hipster. Yeah, I mean, again, Solo is going to be the same story and Swift is going to become stronger. Now, what I'm disappointed in, personally, I'm disappointed in there being no announcement to address tunneling and camping. When I say address, I don't mean prevent, as in give someone 10 endurance states, but change the gameplay so killers don't want to necessarily camp and tunnel, and they haven't done anything about it. They haven't announced anything, any new gameplay mechanic or gameplay change that incentivizes killers to go for mixed hooks. Like, oh, every survivor you hook gets a debuff, or depending on how many hooks you have, the gens are slower. You know, nothing of the sorts. Then they haven't mentioned anything about that. So 2023 is just going to be more camping, more tunneling, more unfun gameplay, and that's it. Because they're not addressing the elephant in the room. They're not addressing the core issues of the game. They're pretending like it doesn't exist, and they're just ignoring it. So now 2023 is going to be another year of tunneling, because that's what the devs have chosen the game to be. Because they haven't introduced any mechanic which rewards the killer for going for mixed hooks. So now we go into the new year just with some more tunneling, some more proxy camping. Yeah. Because, like, let's be honest, all they're doing is they're making Survivor stronger because they're giving them more information. And they're making killer weaker because they're nerfing the strongest killer. Like, that is what's basically happening here. That's what's happening. Hello, Rudog. Feels like 2016. Nah, it just feels like some devs who just don't... Devs who just want to play it safe. They want to play it safe. They don't want to radically change anything, because they know that if they do, people may not like it and stop playing. So they're just playing it safe. They're like, you know, let's just keep the boat flowing afloat. You know, let's do the bare minimum and hope that people just still play the game. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, it's going to be another year of tunneling because that hasn't changed. The dynamics hasn't changed. Whatever. Okay, that's all you need to know, basically. And then we may get Unbreakable Base Kit down the line, maybe. Maybe, because they may backtrack on that, actually. I have a feeling they may backtrack. Potentially. Maybe not. Maybe not.